In 1967, the British government announced that it would withdraw all its military forces east of the Suez Canal, which included Singapore and Malaysia, by 1975. However, in January 1968, the British government announced that it was going to accelerate the withdrawal of the military forces by 1971. I'm Lieutenant Colonel retired Liu Tin Boon. I enlisted into the Singapore Air Defence Command in June 1968, served for 32 years, and I retired from the Republic of Singapore Air Force in June 2000. In November 1968, I, together with 3 other fellow pilot trainees, was selected and sent to France for training on the helicopter. The biggest challenge was learning everything in French. Even the air traffic language was totally in French. And on 1st October 1969, the Alouette Squadron was formed with 8 Alouettes at Seletar Airbase, when Alouette Squadron was renamed to 120 Squadron. This was in line with the Singapore Air Defence Command restructuring its naming system for the squadrons by using number. In 1975, April the 1st, Singapore Air Defence Command was renamed Republic of Singapore Air Force. I clearly remember on this day also, I assumed command of 120 Squadron. In 1979, when I was serving as a head of branch at the Air Force Planning Group, I proposed and formulated the Sembawang Operational Master Plan and the long-term helicopter orbit. In 1983, July, Sembawang Airbase was set up, and at that time, 120 Squadron and 122 Squadron moved to Sembawang Airbase. The OMP and the long-term helicopter orbit, in my mind, are the 2 best legacies I've left behind for the helicopter community.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel National Service Goh Kerja. I left active service from 123 Squadron. I'm currently serving as a Deputy Commander Helicopter Group. RSAF at that time was still organized based on air bases and different aircraft types. The concept of HeliG, we knew it existed, but the identity back then was as an airbase. This was the only base in the whole RSAF where all the helicopter pilots, helicopter aircraft type congregated together. The whole concept of HeliG kind of evolved with the Phoenix transformation. And I think with that move, the community identified ourselves more. But beyond identity, I think what it did at that period in time was it brought about a different level of professionalism and a different level of understanding of what this group does. The group had a deeper meaning. The group means knowing what helicopter operation is. The group means excellence in helicopter operations.
I served in the headquarters as a staff officer helicopter operations, and during that time I had the opportunity to organize helicopter exercises with the Army. Among them were heliborne operations exercises and amphibious operation exercises with the Army.
Major Joyce here, I'm the OC of Peace Vanguard. One of the greatest benefits of training in Peace Vanguard would definitely be the airspace. With this vast airspace, we could conduct more mission-oriented training, as well as we also have a backyard range for our gunnery exercises. In addition, we also get to participate in high-end exercises such as the Exercise Forging Saber series, as well as the Exercise Valiant Mark series. With such exercises, it allows us to hone our operational competencies, as well as to benchmark ourselves against other forces. I enjoy working with my USAFT counterparts. We work with them closely daily through the planning of programs, exercises and missions. All our airmen and women are committed to excellence, ensuring mission success.
I'm Military Expert 2, Kartik from 123 Squadron. My job as Successor Supervisor in 123 Squadron is to operate the helicopter long-range active sonar as well as to perform the aircrewman duties. I think it's a very good eye-opener for me as a naval personnel working in the Air Force, white with the blues. The HeliG, they have never once put me aside as a naval guy. They always have included me as one of their family. And when I came to Air Force, I started flying, and things were slightly different. In the Navy, we used to call by relative bearings, like grade 10, we're looking at a vessel. But when I come to Air Force, I start calling by code. That means I have to see my watch every now and then to realize that, okay, I need to call at 3 o'clock, I need to call at 2 o'clock. The challenges is, of course, the pace. I'm traveling at 140 knots aircraft, which is a faster pace compared to a 30 knot ship, and everything happens so quickly and there's no room for error. And I think that actually built up the safety culture within myself and also to look out for each other.
I am 2nd Sergeant Kenny Ng from 126 Squadron. I am an aircrew specialist. One of my roles in peacetime is to be a winchman for search and rescue operations.
Back when I was at NSF, I was posted to HeliG by vocation. I believe it's a new experience for me as a NSF. I signed on because I find the purpose in my job as an aircrew specialist. What we do as an aircrew specialist is to be on search and rescue standby, and there might be one day that you might actually be activated for SAR scramble, whereby you have to go down the line to save somebody's life. Being able to have the chance to actually make a difference in somebody's life and to allow them to one day see their family again, I find that really very meaningful.
In January 1970, we returned to Singapore. Our first priority was to train up for search and rescue duties. And at that time, we pilots had to double up as winch operators and winchmen because the helicopter crewman vocation was not established yet until 1972. We took over the search and rescue duties from the departing British Royal Air Force helicopters. And we provided, since then, search and rescue standby crews and helicopters continuously until today. We pilots were also trained on how to maintain our helicopters in the field. We were trained and were qualified to handle pre-flight checks, turnaround checks, and after-flight checks and certify the aircraft fit. This turned in very handy because in January 1971, in a day's notice, we were deployed to Kuantan. It was the first time that we flew in such a challenging environment, but we completed our mission successfully, and it marked the first baptism of fire that we received.
I'm Anyone Odrishi. I'm a flight engineer from 127 Squadron. My call sign is Froch. It actually represents First Lady of the CH. I feel proud to be a female crew member in the helicopter and participate combat roles or in frontline.
I am Emitu Benedict. I am a flight line crew from 127 Squadron, and my primary role is to check the condition of the aircraft before, in between, and after flight. Our job is to make sure that we generate the aircraft so that the aircrew, pilots, and the flight engineer can execute the mission.
Hurricane Harvey is the first HADR. When we got there, one of my missions is to deliver the food and the drinks to Houston. It is water flooding all over. The furniture is damaged. Everywhere is messy. You cannot see any single person there.
When we heard the news, right, everybody was affected. First thing in our mind, right, we wanted to do our best to help them. And you can see like the pilots, the aircrew specialists, the flight engineers, the flight line come together to generate the aircraft, configure the aircraft so that they can fly and help and to save life.
We actually saw the articles talking about RSAF helping USA in these missions. I was very proud.
I honestly believe NS men play an important part. I do want to make a difference, even as an NS man commander. If the mission is sound, if the mission is noble, it is a very strong and powerful tool that you can galvanize a lot of guys.
We have 3 different squadrons there. Consists of aircrew specialists, mainly 125, 126 and 127 Squadron. The community within ourselves are very, very tight.
I believe that the helicopter community or even aircraft itself work as a team, and there's no lines drawn between us. And I think that is a very, very important thing in a working environment for us.
We're not just colleagues, we're not just friends, we are family.
Heli50 provides us an opportunity to not only celebrate our achievements, but also to reflect on the sacrifices that got us here.
I'd like to wish the helicopter group happy 50th anniversary.
Congratulations HeliG on achieving this milestone,
HeliG's Golden Jubilee would not have been possible without the hard work and sacrifice of our past and present airmen and women.
We come so far.
I wish that everybody will have a safe sky to fly in.
Don't be satisfied in a status quo. Don't be satisfied with the last 50 years of where we were and where we are now. Continue to innovate, continue to improve.
When Singaporeans think of helicopters, they immediately think of the state flag flypast during the National Day Parade.
This year is my first time involvement in the NDP flag party team. So I'm very excited. I realized that there's a lot of coordination, there's a lot of planning need to be done.
Actually, I feel very proud when the flag fly past because I'm part of the team who generate the aircraft for it to fly, and then when the flag flies so high, you just feel the proudness in the blood.
I remember how, on 9th August 1970, we flew the Singapore flag with the Alouettes at the National Day Parade for the very first time. The flypast has since been a permanent feature in all NDPs since then. The helicopter unit was set up to provide an air support capability. It has since developed into a well-respected and professional helicopter force. I was there from the start, and I had given it all my best. I trust that you and the generations to follow will continue to build upon the foundation laid by my generation.
We must continue this spirit of excellence, pride, and commitment every day that we are here, to carry the torch that our pioneers have handed to us and to keep its spirit blazing for the next generation. We cannot forget that in history, the British helicopters flew the Royal Air Force ensign over our land for as long as they were here. Now it is our privilege and honour for our own helicopters to fly the Singapore flag for our fellow Singaporeans. This legacy is ours to cherish, uphold, and continue, because our skies are ours to defend.